final say.
Everybody, welcome back to the Kingdom Creatives podcast, where we educate, motivate, and entertain other fellow creatives. With me today, we have Master Casey, and I was telling Master Casey earlier that I'm not going to try and pronounce his real name because I don't think I'm going to do it justice. So, can you please introduce your real name? Thank you very much.
I mean, I could try. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to the listeners of the Kingdom Creatives podcast. My name is Kelechi Ibeleme, known as Master Casey for short. Well, not for short, but better known as Master Casey. Casey is the short form.
And it's easier,
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Of course, we are born in Trinidad. Well, conceived in Trinidad, born in Trinidad, bred in Trinidad, buttered in Trinidad, raised in Trinidad, residing in Trinidad, manufactured in Nigeria.
Wow, okay.
That is
manufactured. Okay. So, all right, so we're going to get into it. Because I don't know you as a singer. Are you a singer? Do you sing? What does that mean? Usually the people who are like, they actually can sing. So
well, by virtue of my heritage, I have certain abilities. But generally speaking, in terms of my contributions to the kingdom from a creative point of view, I am a DJ / media empire / all of it.
So I can't throw you out in the deep end with a songwriting challenge then. All right, no problem. Okay, so I guess I'll start with what has been the most embarrassing moment for you, whether in ministry or in life, that you are willing to share?
Yeah, that's easy. That was really easy. So I was playing at this concert, right? I'm not gonna call the name of the concert, but what happened was, we DJs, we work with two decks, so we have a song, we're prepping a song to transition to the next side. Now, what happened was, I picked my song. I knew where I wanted the song to go, but I ended up loading the song to the wrong side, to the side that was playing, which means the music stopped all of a sudden, and you just heard a different song at the place. Yeah, it was random.
Do you think they noticed?
I mean, yeah.
It was back like some of those situations. Only sometimes I feel like only we notice because what's supposed to happen.
It was back in the day, so they definitely noticed. It was So at that point where I learned, okay, cool, we need to put the safety here.
Yeah.
So that could never happen, even if you do it by accident. You could only load to a track that's not playing. So we live, we learn.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
We leave legacies from henceforth.
Leave legacies, that's what you call it? Okay.
Yeah.
But it's good that you learn from it though.
Sure.
And I guess that brings me to how you came about with that name, Master Casey. And just tell us about you, how you got into being a DJ and such.
Yeah, so basically, I am, of course, the second of three boys. The big one, that's Udo. He's basically the blueprint, and then the young one is Akachi, who is the quote-unquote new kid on the block. On the block, not necessarily in terms of his mentality, but more so in terms of his approach to the art form and whatnot. We were exposed to everything. Our parents ensured that especially Daddy ensured that we knew all the things. So whether it was Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, the Flow Masters era. For those who don't know, Flow Masters would have been that particular label that Sherwin Gardner was a part of. Sherwin Gardner was in charge of. Those people like Vanessa Briggs and Shizzalon and the whole shebang, right? So he made sure that we had that exposure to all of that music. And then there was a particular sports day at my church where I saw this guy, a guy by the name of Adam Joseph. He was usually virtual DJ at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that for the first time all those months ago, and I was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, desire became passion, passion became obsession, obsession became drive to perfection, and we have reached where we have reached. The name Master KC came about because I wanted to have something that was not just indigenous to me, and not just promotional, but deeper than that. It became a reminder of why I do this thing. So it's actually an acronym for Ministry and Service to the Eternal Ruler, King and Creator. So that's how the case came about.
I never knew that. Wow. Okay. It's a good thing I asked, because that one was news to me. I thought it was just, you know, you like karate and master.
Nah, I used to get beaten with belts, so the karate thing might not have been.
Oh boy. I think that's a Caribbean thing.
It didn't matter what color the belt was, you know. I was getting lit with it. So
yeah, I feel like that's a Caribbean thing. Like, we can all testify.
Forget Caribbean. It's not just Caribbean. It's Nigerian. Being a representative of both diasporas is tough, you know. Especially in a Nigerian household.
Yeah.
The corporal punishment was about to be shit. So, yeah.
Oh boy. So, question to you. I heard you mention something about your brother's approach to the craft. Does that mean that your other brothers share in what you do? Are they DJs as well, or something?
No, not DJs. They're both artists.
Artists, okay.
Udo, of course, is artist / songwriter / producer / all of those things. Akachi is, who is the younger one. That would be the artist / rapper / all of those things. So if you put the three of us together, it's pretty much like a imitation Run DMC, if you will.
But that's good though.
Where you have the artist in front and the DJ there.
But that's really good. That's good, because you have everything that you need in the family. That's really good.
Basically.
So why did you go ahead and choose ministry? Why did you choose gospel? Because it could have been anything else. I mean, I'm pretty sure secular music pays DJs much better than the gospel industry. So, why did you choose gospel?
Well, it's a pretty great question. To be very blunt, I was, for lack of a better term, highly protected.
Yeah.
I was a highly protected guy, you know, especially as a PK. When you're a PK, you're highly protected. And when you're highly protected, there's certain things that you wouldn't know until you're just an age and blah, 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 blah. You all know those things. So it started off with, you know, me being highly protected. But then as I grew, it became more of a conscious choice, because it would just feel weird to do anything else.
Yeah.
Because it felt like as though there is enough like sonic value within this Christian sect that I felt the need to go out there into the quote unquote world, if you want to call it that, to go out there and just, you know, capitulate and acquiesce to these ideals, whether it's
using big words, guys.
Whether it's, you know, wine on a bumper by so.
Somebody give me a dictionary.
So it became less about. It basically became. It became because, you know, I felt a peace, you know, within the whole gospel fraternity, rather than going out there and, you know, whining on a bumper here, drinking and partying here, being lascivious here. It wasn't wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna work. Even if I was to vocalize that, I wouldn't be as believable. So yeah, like I would say, if I was to say, hey, it's Friday night, let's go to the club and
sounds weird.
Oh my god. So
sounds weird.
Yeah. So it's weird, but more importantly, there's a satisfaction that I had. And more so within the whole ideal of the gospel fraternity, that it made no sense going anywhere else. It wouldn't fit me.
Right. My question is, well, I feel like you answered it indirectly. You like to read, yes?
Yeah, that was basically my mom created a monster. I say that. So she would make me read everything. I had to read to survive. In the mean streets of my household, I had to read to survive. So what happened was, every time I would read, I would learn new stuff, and my vocabulary would invariably expand. And being the extreme character that I was back then, just started reading more and more and more. Reading to the point where my mom started to get fed up. Right? So because of the results. Because of the results of my reading. And I will often remind her that if you didn't want the results, you shouldn't have made me read that much.
Well, you're brave. You're brave to say that.
I mean, I had to wait until I approached a certain age before I was brave enough to come out and say.
Okay, that made more sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that as like a 14, 15-year-old. Nah.
No. But that's a whole lot of bravery. You know, sometimes
especially in a Nigerian home.
Yeah, sometimes I see some videos on like TikTok where they have videos of little babies responding to their parents, and I'm like, in what world would those comments be acceptable? Not in my mother's house. Exactly. Like, no, that's not possible. How is this amusing to you, and how are they getting away with this? But it's a different generation, you know.
Yeah, you would have get back in the day. You would have get like your parents would have reset your brain.
There's no pause between what you say and the reaction. It's like it's immediate.
It's like shots fired.
That's a bit extreme.
I mean, but the point is made. Like, you know, it's just shoot first, ask questions.
For real.
It's not a response. It's a reaction. You know.
Yeah. The question that I was planning to ask before that was, how was it when you decided to be a DJ, being a PK? I mean, I know that is gospel music, but at the same time, you're doing different types of gospel music, and not every church person likes certain types of gospel music. So was that a bit of adjusting for your family, or your people are just like, oh, I love music and music is music, so just do your thing?
Music is something that is basically woven within the DNA of my family, and by extension the DNA of my church. So we were fortunate enough to live past the times, to live through and transition through the times where artists like Sharon Gardner and Sean would have get relics because of the gospel soca, this and that, and certain things are frowned upon. Back in the early days of Flow Masters, people were a lot of artists were dragged through the mud due to the genres that they chose to implement. But we always had this mentality back home that the gospel is primarily a message. It's a message, and the good thing about messages is that they are easily transmissible by a variety of means. And in order to communicate that message, it has to be able to be translated in different languages and be seen.
Right.
Some people could speak soca but can't speak dancehall. Some people could speak R&B, but they can't speak, the hip hop style stuff. So being able to, being able to, articulate your message in a wide variety of forms would allow you to reach a greater cross-section of people than if you were to just pigeonhole yourself into one box. So
right.
the approach of being able to do all of these things, it was natural at that point in time.
Okay, so what's your planning process like when you're putting together your mixes? I know that you usually put out one like every week or something like that. I don't know if you still do
once
it.
Once every
2 weeks.
Yeah. This July would actually make it 5 years since I've been doing it.
Oh wow. That's some serious consistency. So what's your process like?
Process. So a lot of times I look at the year. I have like a whole calendar laid out with specific dates. And I look at the year and I say, okay, cool. There's certain things that I do like at very certain strategic points throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I always do like an Afro mix to start the year because Nigerian, right? So we have at the first Monday of the year we do an Afro mix. We call that like it's a part of a series called Tales of the Motherland where we just do Afro-centric music.
Nice.
Right. So we have that on the first of the year. Then on the 1st of August, which is Emancipation Day here in Trinidad, that's another Afro mix again. And then on the 1st of October, which is Independence in Nigeria, that's Afro mix again. So those are things that I do. I have very specific days. But for other things, I would have like a plan in terms of the kind of vibe I want to give off based on the sonics. So I'd be able to kind of lay out a list, a short list, maybe like once I know like the 5 songs that I want to start with, I'll start with those 5 songs and then everything else just kind of blossoms out of that. And that will generally happen before the post-production phase. Once we get through the post-production phase, we bounce the MP3 file and it's off to the feeds to be released on the right day and at the right time.
All right. So do you how would I word this? Do you I know it's a pre-recording in terms of putting it together, but would you say that you have like a stack of stuff that you have ready for like the month in advance and then you record again for the next month that's coming? Or do you just do it bi-weekly based on when it's time for you to put out the stuff?
Well, I'm in this phase now where I'm doing things on a bi-weekly basis, but generally speaking, I would have things waiting in the wings. Like that's when I think I'm most in control, when I have things waiting in the wings. And I could say, okay, cool, you're gonna drop on this day, you're gonna drop on this day. And then I could change my mind and say, nah, let's switch these 2 around, bring this up a few notches sooner. Yeah, I like that. So there was this particular year, it was like just before the beginning of 2020, I had the first 6 months of 2020 pre-recorded already. So like pandemic or no pandemic, I would not have had to do anything for the first 6 months.
Wow.
It was only when pandemic hit, I was like, okay, cool. I think I could just drop a few things extra here and there, and that was just because I wanted to, not because I had to. I could have left them. And at that point, when I have the choice of dropping things just because I want to, not because I'm scrambling to meet a quota, that's when my workflow is like top tier.
Wow. I feel like you have a planner, like one of those books where you have like you organize everything. Do you have a planner?
Not in the traditional sense. But I can see why you think that, because that the whole penchant for planning, I kind of get that from my mom, because she literally has a planner. Like
she has a planner,
right? And she's the kind of person, she will just write down, think, okay, cool, I have this appointment here, I have to do this session here, churches at the start. Yeah, she is like on the ball, regimental. She doesn't. So
do you feel like that affects you, like because you're so organized? whenever it doesn't go according to the plan?
Wow.
Does it ever like throw you off?
For sure.
Or are you like, well, this is what it is? What is that?
It throws me off a lot sometimes, you know. It kind of throws off things that I want to do, because it's like, no, I mean, granted, I have the ability to kind of pivot, but in the heat of the moment, it's like, what in the jail is this? Like, why is it happening? Why does this not drop on time? Like, just just earlier this week, it took volume 17 dropped Monday going, and that was supposed to drop like way earlier, before people woke up in the morning, right? That usually I set my stuff to drop like in the wee hours in the morning to take notifications and stuff. So, but that didn't happen. That ended up dropping like after 4 p.m. and it's to 5 p.m. and I'm like, what? This is not it. This is not it. We have to do that. And I ended up beating myself for like a good 15 minutes, you know, crying proverbial tears. But I was able to, you know, get up, shake up, and move on.
So it doesn't affect me a lot. A question popped in my head a while ago. So I know that you create mixes based on songs that are already released. But have you ever like thought about getting a track done and then just doing like a compilation of different artists on that track? Because I know a couple of DJs that do that. So is that something that you see yourself doing?
I haven't really looked into it that much. It may be something that I do explore based on how I'm led and based on seasons and time and how things go. But to say that I've looked into it for myself, I haven't. But I do know people that have. Do really, really well, for sure.
Yeah. So what would you say is something people underestimate is not the word. So let's say you go to an event. Maybe the best thing for me to do is just explain a scenario. So let's say you go to an event and you are the DJ for that event. What is something you see people take for granted or really annoys you when you're at events?
Wow. There's so many. This is such a dynamic, divergent question. There's so many. Where do I even start? Well, we could go to promoters, perhaps. So there are some promoters that don't necessarily they don't do their best sometimes to ensure that you are fully prepared and fully apprised of all the things that are happening to ensure that the job gets done.
Right.
I remember there was this one event I did. I went in there based on an understanding that I would have acquired based on prior discussions with the promoter. Right. I got in there and I'll be told about these extenuating circumstances as they popped up. Yeah. And me being the professional that I am, I had to suck it up and deal with them, And to me, these were the circumstances were those that could have been easily avoided. If I had known, okay, this is an item that's on the program. This is an item that's on the program. But I was not aware of the program, quote unquote. Yeah. So, and even so, like I'm going there with a prior expectation of okay, this is what the program's gonna be based on what I was told. This is gonna happen at this time, this and that and the other, and then you can rock for here. And so I have a mentality. So I'm going there ready to do my job, and they're like, okay, cool. So we're gonna add this, and we're gonna add this, and we're gonna add this, and we're gonna add this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. While inside, my heart is like breaking apart into bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
What am I going to do about all of these addendums? Like, why?
Yeah.
So that's like on the promoter side. On the side of patrons, sometimes there is a lack of appreciation for what is done in the grand scheme of things. So we know that different DJs have different styles and they have different means of bringing something to bear. And so when a particular patron comes up and makes a particular request,
that
throws off everything. Like when I say it throws off everything, it throws off everything.
Yeah.
And then as much as you could say no, it's like in the back of your mind, you're kind of like in a catch-22 situation. If I don't play it, then I get satisfied. But then that particular patron could spoil my reputation. But if I do play it, they can get satisfied. Or they can get satisfied, and then I could be salty for the rest of the event. Or worse yet, play it and they change their whole mind about how they feel about that request they made, and you end up looking like a fool. So it's like a catch-22. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's weird sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes because the persons aren't directly in our shoes as creatives, like when they come to you with certain requests, you're supposed to just say yes, of course, snap of a finger, poof, I can get it done just like that, you know. But they don't understand the process that it has to go through, or whatever it is that you're trying to communicate. And then as a result of that, as you say, you know, there might be some kind of bad vibes because, well, you should have been able to do it already.
Exactly.
I'll be at work, and I hope nobody at work though hold me up for this, but I'll be at work, and sometimes like there's something happening and they will want something to be played, and they wait until that very moment to say, oh, you know, I have a phone that I want to play the audio from. And I'm like, okay.
What a video. Not the phone.
Yeah, like, okay, let's just hope. So, I mean, I usually come prepared with certain things because I know because they're not a part of my world, they don't understand. So I try to come as prepared as possible. But you see, let me tell you when it catches me off guard, when the students come with their iPads wanting to play audio, and like you, that's the Apple fan, then you're fine because you already have the converter, you know. So you just plug in and then you connect the aux cable and then you're good to go. But you say like me, know, who just got the Apple devices, man, and I'm no converter. So now I have to see if it's a YouTube video. Can I get this video and download it? Can I transfer it to whatever it is that I can play from? Boy. But, you know, for them, it's just, hey, I have this audio. Can you play it?
Yeah, it's not it.
Boy. But I think it's partially on us to have those conversations with them, because I feel some people, if we have open and honest conversations to say, all right, this is what I need. If it's somebody that you're dealing with on a consistent basis, this is what I need from you. If you're gonna play something or whatever, see if you can get it to me like the day before or at least in the morning, and I see what I can let happen. But then of course you have other circumstances where it's just impromptu, you know, and you just have to pray that you're prepared. And if you're not prepared, you gotta just pray you can find a solution, because
grin and bear it, yes.
I don't know if people will ever truly understand until they're in our shoes. But
there comes a point in time where their lack of production trumps your abundance of preparedness. And in cases like that, all they could do is grin and bear it.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it.
So, another section that I asked you to fill out about topics that are close to your heart, I see where you have being grounded and respecting your predecessors.
Yeah, boy, that
Tell me what that means.
respecting your predecessors. Um, I am a part of a fraternity that has tons of history. Um, so when it comes to DJs, I would report firstly to those that came before me. I think about people like the DJ Mickeys of the world, the DJ Blastments of the world, Omega Express. The list goes on and on. So those are guys that would have paved the way for people like myself to do what they're doing now. And to those guys, I always take an advice from them, take whatever pointers I get from them. And then of course, even if we go back further than the program market, we could go to the dawn of DJing in general, which would be the dawn of hip hop as we know it. So if we look at people like Grandmaster Flash and Africa Bambaataa, DJ Cooler, these are the guys that would have invented the art form, and persons after them would have invented like the building blocks, whether it be like the backspins, the breakdowns, scratching as a whole. These are good. These guys would have taken those building blocks and put them together to form the fundamental art of DJing that we know and enjoy now, that we can apply not just to hip hop but to any genre that exists, knowing fully well that people used to play on turntables like Technics 1200s with the vinyl and the tone arms and the needles that break all the time and need to be replaced, and the fact that you can the vinyl out in the sun, otherwise it'll get deformed and stuff like that. And then you may have to worry about needle skipping and stuff. We move from that to things like CDJs, where now we don't have to worry about that, but then you have to worry about CDs that could be deformed or scratched or stuff like that. And then of course throughout all of that, you're beat matching by ear, because there isn't much of like a visual. There wasn't much of a visual aid. There were visual aids with CDJs, but again they paled in comparison to what we have now, which is controllers and Serato. Serato pretty much changed the game back in the early 2000s, around 2003, 2004, when Scratch Live came out. When we're able to use like actual turntables with special control vinyl, and then we could hook it up to the computer and control music that way without having to carry crates of vinyl and sleeves of CDs. All the files were on the computer, and it was revolutionary. And that technology advanced to a point where we are now, where whether we're using controllers or CDJs or vinyl, we could all use the same piece of software, and algorithms have progressed to the degree where we have things like we could change the speed of a song without the pitch of the song being manipulated in any way, shape or form. We have loops, we have cue points, we have special effects, we have different stingers and samplers that we could drop. Technology has advanced to such a degree, and as much as we love the technology that advanced, we have to be able to we must appreciate where we have reached. We must be able to make progress towards the future, but in all of that we must never forget where we came from.
I felt like I just had a whole history lesson on, DJing. No, but I'm serious. You see me laughing, but I'm serious. Like, that's a lot of information there. I don't know if you do workshops, but you should probably consider it. So with that being said, I think my next question to you is, let's say there is a young DJ or aspiring DJ that's listening. What is like the best starter equipment that you would suggest? Because like for me as a vocalist, the first thing that I would suggest to persons who want to be singers is to get a mic, get an interface, a computer that can handle production, so you can do your own recording, get a pop filter, stuff like that. So like for you, what is your starter kit?
Starter kit. I'd say primarily focus on music. Really, really develop a love, a passion, an affinity for music. Understand exactly what you want to do, what lane you want to go in, because gospel is very, very vast, especially if you're going into that direction.
Right.
Understand your jurisdiction, understand your markets.
Right.
Because to develop your own sound, develop your own sonic aesthetic, you have to be able to set yourself apart. And the only way you could do that is if you know your music inside and out.
Right.
You know, having done so, then you could decide what kind of software do I want to use, because it's the software that you pick that will determine the hardware that you're going to get. So, do I want to use Virtual DJ? Do I want to use Tractor? Do I want to use Rekordbox? Do I want to use Do I want to use Algorithm? Do I want to use Juiced? Like there are a lot of pieces of software out there that do the job. So make sure you have your music locked down. Make sure that you know exactly what software you want to use. And once you've done those two things, then I would advise that you try to start off with something small. Start off with a DJ controller, preferably one that's a bit small. Small in terms of the price point, because you want to really know, okay, cool, should I really be doing this thing? You want to avoid like the sunk cost fallacy as much as possible. Well, I've already invested this much money into it, so I might as well. That's what we call the sunk cost fallacy. So you want to avoid that. Music first, then software decision second, then we could talk about equipment and gear and stuff.
That makes sense. And it's interesting that you say that in terms of starting small cost wise, where equipment is concerned, because the truth is, and I mean, yes, the equipment matters, but the truth is, if you are good at what you do, then the talent at times outshines whatever is lacking in the equipment. I mean, it's not always the case, but it often outshines what might be lacking. And like, a lot of people wouldn't know that the things that the voices that they hear for my songs in particular, most of the times I don't go to studio. I record at home. It's between home and a friend in Mandeville. And my equipment, I can tell you, most of them individually, they don't reach 100 US. Like they're pretty, budget priced stuff. Because I have a Focusrite interface, which for anybody who knows what a Focusrite interface is, you all know that it's not expensive. And then the mic that I bought, which was suggested to me by a producer in Antigua, that was like $60. And then my headphone.
Which producer was that? That was
Glenn Roy. That was John Mark's producer. Yeah, Glenn Roy. So he had told me to go and check out the MXL V6. I don't remember. I think that's it. And that was like $60. I don't know what it is now. And then the other things that I have, they're within that price range. Of course, though, like the laptop and the computer, that's a whole different ballgame. You have to get that right. If you don't get anything else right, you need to get that right.
For sure.
But yeah, like the rest of them, like what you said, you have to spend an arm and a leg. Hone your craft. Make sure that it's a good enough budget equipment. So you're not just buying something cheap because you don't want to spend a lot of money. You're buying good budget stuff. And then you just do your best.
Yeah,
and if your best is and if your best is good enough, then people will hear that, and then you will know whether or not you need to invest in better things.
Yeah,
so sound advice.
It's like, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and in time you'll be able to upgrade to what you want.
You should put that on a t-shirt. I'd buy that. By the way, I don't have one of your t-shirts as yet. When am I going to get my t-shirt?
Oh, you don't have one of those? Yeah, so that the merch store. Perfect place to plug that in.
You have a merch store. Look at that. Fancy.
Yeah, something like that. So if we go to shop.themasterkc.com, that's where you'll find jerseys, hoodies, everything. Right? All of them. From the classic Master Casey jerseys and hoodies to the Master at Work jerseys and hoodies, Master in Control jerseys, Roti is Life jerseys.
Roti is Life. I knew that one was coming. I just knew nothing to me like curry. I'm sorry. I'd eat curry every day. But I can't. Everything in moderation.
Super. Over. It is over. Like the moment it enters that house, it's on site. Every day.
Look at me getting distracted. Okay, we're not going to talk about curry right now. We're talking about your merch.
Right,
so you have an online store that we can get your merch from. Is this like a drop shipping company, or do you...
Drop shipping. You go there, you go there, you buy, you tell them where you want to ship it, and everything is on.
All right. We need to talk more about that, but I'll talk about that off air. Yeah. So while we're about to wrap up, you did mention, again, in the same thing that I asked you to fill out, the importance of being grounded. What does that mean to you? And I guess after that, you can tell us where we can find your mixes, as well as where can they connect to you on social media and such. So, yeah.
In terms of being grounded, there was this particular thing I saw, a particular lecture. I believe the guy's name was Simon Sinek, and he would have featured 3 concentric circles. The one on the outermost would have been the what, and then one level inwards would be how. But at the very core of the concentric circles is the why. And if you understand why you're doing what you're doing, it becomes easier to stay focused on the task and press towards that mark, right? So staying grounded implies that I have a compelling why. I have a compelling why. I know why I got into this thing, and it's because I have this particular gift, and I am thankful to God for allowing me to glorify Him in this way, and I also derive enjoyment from doing it this way. It's not about the vanity metrics. It's not about the analytics, although those things do look good. It's not about the accolades. It's not about the awards. It's basically about the adulation, adoration, and admiration that comes from engaging in the craft. And it is the engagement of the craft that would bring the glory to God and bring the pleasure to you and others.
Yeah.
It's not about the award. The awards are merely icing on the cake, but what's icing without the cake itself? It's just pure sugar that needs to die.
True. So, with that being said, tell us where we can hear your mixes.
In terms of where you could find my mixes, of course, you could find them on my website, www.themasterkc.com. There'll be a section right there. Of course, my mixes are available on all podcast platforms with the exception of Spotify. You could find me Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at TheMasterKC, basically everywhere. It's really, really, really simple. And we'll have a time.
Sounds good. All right. And tell us what Master KC means again.
Ministry and service to the eternal ruler, King and Creator.
There you have it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today, Master KC. Again, I'm not going to try and pronounce your first name. I'm sorry.
But
Thank you for joining us. This was good. This was really informative for me. I don't know about anybody else. It was really informative for me because I mean, I know the work that goes into putting together the mixes because my husband, he used to be in that prior to becoming a Christian and stuff. So I have an appreciation for it, but I learned a lot more in this segment. And I just want to say thank you for being available for this discussion.
Yeah, no
Really
problem.
appreciate it. And for those of you who are listening, remember, go and check him out on Instagram, all the social medias that you have access to, as well as his mixes on, as you said, other podcasting platforms, except Spotify, unfortunately. But yeah, you can definitely go and check it out there, as well as his website. You can buy merch as well. So definitely go and do that, go and support. That is it for the Kingdom Creatives podcast today, tonight, this evening, wherever, whatever time it is where you're listening. Thank you for joining us, and I do hope you have a good rest of the day. This is the Kingdom Creatives podcast where we educate, motivate, and entertain. God bless you all. Thanks for joining us. You make a way that have the final say.